Hi, everybody. This is Maxine Taylor with my forecast for the United States for the last quarter of 2019. I am wearing pink today intentionally. Pink is ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of love. And that is exactly what our country needs. It's exactly what our world needs, which is why I'm encouraging all light workers, light seeds, angels on assignment to prepare to step forward during the next year to make sure that you shine your light, because it doesn't take much, just a little light, a little love to create a tipping point. Our world is in chaos, and you can make a difference. So let's talk about the United States chart, shall we? Remember, an astrological chart shows potential. I have no idea how it's going to manifest. However, in the chart of a country, it manifests pretty mundanely. And as I am recording this video on October 1, 2019, we are fully involved in the impeachment process of Trump. So, and of course, the Democrats want to move it forward quickly, and the Republicans don't. It's your basic push-pull. So let's talk very easily, very gently about what all's going on for the next 3 months. And I'm going to start with the lunation, the full moons. Why am I starting with the full moons? Because on the full moon, that's when things come to a head. And I'm going to do the new moons as well. As I look at my chart, I see that I have included the new moons. So, starting with the full moon of October 13th. This moon is in 20 degrees of Aries. It is in the 11th house of the United States chart. What does the 11th house rule in a country's chart? Congress. Okay, we can stop there. Congressmen, legislation, the Treasury, councils, group activities of all sorts, friends, but in this case, Congress. And by the 13th, because the Democrats are trying to get this whole impeachment thing moved forward quickly, we can expect to see issues with Congress coming to a head. If I remember correctly, and I don't have numbers, several Republican congressmen have stepped forward condemning and criticizing Trump for the conversation with the Ukrainian president, which is the start of all this, and hidden email servers and all kind of stuff. If you've followed the news, you know. And so things come to a head in Congress. Now, can this be positive? Sure. Can it be negative? Sure. But they come to a head. The Democrats are not stopping. They are moving forward quickly. And Republicans, several, are joining them. I also understand that there are several who have not joined for political reasons, etc. I understand that. So, Congress. Then the new moon on October 27th is in 4 Scorpio. And on the new moon, that's when things start moving forward. It's in the 6th house of the United States chart, which rules health, whether health care, health of the people. It deals with the military and all civil servants. There can be strikes. There can be raises. That would be lovely. Jobs in general. Food. You know, we have tariffs with now, even more so with our former allies and perhaps not so many allies that are raising prices, food prices. You've probably seen it in the supermarket. Okay, there we go. But this is when things start moving forward. The sixth house deals with pets, and of course, police and fire department. But it is the workers, the common people who get the shot in the arm from the new moon. So let's see what happens there, okay? Then, in November, the full moon in 20 of Taurus is in the 12th house of the United States chart. Now, for those of you who study astrology, you know what we're talking about here. The 12th house is all hidden activities. It includes lying, cheating, stealing. It includes bribery. And that, of course, is the veiled threat that the president gave the president of Ukraine. Hidden enemies, oh yeah, the whistleblower, spies, both sides, all sides. Prison, jail, that looms largely. Secret societies, slaves, slavery, it's an issue. Welfare checks, the welfare of the people, but it's actual financial welfare. Hospitals, crime. Hello, whether it's crime with crime groups, terrorist groups, or coming from the administration. We don't know because it's in the hidden 12th house. And the reason that things are just exploding so quickly is because the 12th house is being exposed. Charitable institutions, seclusions, and things that relate to the past. So all the past now will be coming up for grabs. And with everybody on high alert, there's more information. Sometimes you're just not sure what to believe. You have to go with your own feelings and watch the videos. The facts are out there on the videos. Everybody is on video now. You decide unemotionally from what you're seeing. Okay. The new moon in November is still in the 6th house, but it's moving up to the 7th. So once again, the military, healthcare, jobs, all civil servants, pets, food, animals, police, the military. Military is huge here because we're talking about people going to war, fighting for our country. Okay. The full moon in December is in the 1st house of the United States chart in 20 Gemini. It's on December 12th. This is the personality of the country. It's the attitude, the political attitude. And Gemini is a double-bodied sign which sees both sides of every picture, good grief. It is public health. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, I thought you said it was the 6th house that was health. Yes, it shows up in 2 areas because this is the physical body of the person. And this person happens to be the country. And then the new moon on December 26th is a solar eclipse. Now, On an eclipse, things come to a head. We feel the effects of an eclipse at least a week ahead of time, and until the next pair of eclipses come along, which are about 6 months later. Now, in January of 2020, we have the second in the pair of eclipses. It is in 20 degrees of Cancer, but I'm getting ahead of myself, which will be right here on our third cusp of communication, the press, the news media, etc. So let's stick with what we've got. The 8th house deals with other people's money. It deals with secrets, all secrets. We have 2 secretive houses, the 12th and the 8th. The 8th house deals with the treasurer, with the United States debts, with escrows, with taxes, with losses, above all, secrets, and death. Now, I don't talk about death because it's upsetting to people, but we have been hearing more and more about people who have lost their lives to accidents, people who have disappeared without a trace, this type of thing. You say, well, that's been going on for a while. Yeah, but it's emphasized with the 8th house. And if I may, I'm going to introduce the personal interpretation of the 8th house, which is transformation. Out with the old, in with the new. And so when we're talking about debts and escrow and taxes and losses, this is financial loss more than gain. It's mutually agreeable financial arrangements. I think this is where there can be another nail in the coffin, so to speak. When we're talking about mutually win-win financial arrangements, this comes into play with Trump because of the deals that he has made. And in his birth chart, if you've watched my recent Trumpology report, I talk again about the fact that his money in October, particularly through other people's money, other sources, hidden money, is triggered. We're going to see a lot of that. Financial collusion, perhaps, but hidden financial arrangements. Okay, that's lunations, excuse me. Excuse me. Let's talk about the sun. As the sun moves through the zodiac from October through December, we find, and that's the yellow planet. It starts in the 5th house of speculation, of children. I've talked with you about the fact that I want those children who are in cages out. Many of them will never be reunited with their families. This is truly a crime, truly unthinkable. And this can be something which benefits children because the sun is the giver of light. It opens the windows and the doors and brings light to situation. It deals with fun, with sports, and sex. Yes, sex, absolutely. So there's going to be more disclosed because now is the time of exposing what has been going on. It deals with gambling. It deals with theaters. So there can be incidents in theaters. We don't want that. The birth rate. Now, the 5th house, drum roll, deals with congressional and public hearings. Ta-da! As well as stadiums, because we're dealing with sports, and teachers. Just last week, teachers were on strike, if I remember correctly. The information that's available out there on different topics has been overshadowed by Trump since he took office. There's a lot going on that can be very positive and we don't hear about it, or it just passes through quickly because Trump is in the news. He wants to be in the news all the time, and that's what's so. Now, on October 8th, the sun sits on Saturn. Saturn is reality in a mundane chart, and it rules the ninth house of long distance communication with foreigners, with foreign leaders, because Saturn is a leader. And so there can be speculation going on. There can be interaction relating to fun activities. It rules the 10th house of the leader, Trump. And so it brings reality to all of his speculative ventures, and can bring reality to the relationship that we have with our children. It can also set up very structured, positive situations, events, deals relating to children. Sports, whether college or professional, can come into play as we start getting real about them. Just this morning, I heard that I saw in the news that California had signed into law by the governor a bill that would allow college athletes to receive paid endorsements. It won't take place until 2023, excuse me. But that's the kind of thing that we can see more of. Okay, on October 17th, the sun moves into the sixth house. We've talked about that sixth house of health and jobs and the military, civil servants, police and fire department, etc. The sun opens it up. It brings light to it. It sits on the vertex in our sixth house. The vertex is our karmic role in life. And so I would say about the 27th of October, we can see something relating to all these sixth house areas, very positive, coming into play, because the sun is light. Now, on November 30th, because the sun stays in this sixth house till the 30th of November, it crosses into the seventh house. And this deals with international affairs, war, open enemies, those people who are our enemies, lawyers. It deals with politics in general, shedding a light on that. It deals with the lower courts. It deals with marriage, contracts, and most importantly, it deals with the public. And so the public has more say. This is really cool. And finally, December 22nd, the sun moves into that eighth house, which I described when I described the December 26th eclipse just a minute ago. It brings light to our debts, our taxes, our losses, and mainly secrets. Oh, yes, and the treasurer. Okay? The 11th house is the treasury. The 8th house is the treasurer. Okay, let's keep on going here. I want to talk about Mercury. This is very important. I've got notes all over this table. Give me a second here, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I'm back. Mercury, the planet of communication, correspondence, and transportation. It is going to go retrograde during October, the end of October. Let me tell you that when Mercury goes retrograde, everything is unsettled. What we say, what we share. When I say communication as one of the things that Mercury rules, I'm talking about online, phones, servers. Just the other day, it came to light that many of the conversations and emails that the president had with other people were put on a private hidden server. This deals with communication. All right. Mercury. Let me give you some details here. Mercury, we start feeling this in the shadow of the Mercury, of the retrograde on October 11th, which means it's going to feel like Mercury's retrograde. Events are going to appear to be retrograde. Anything begun on a retrograde Mercury has to be redone at some point during the year. Mercury goes retrograde in that sixth house of the military and health and jobs and civil servants and pets and foods and police and fire department, the workers. It goes direct in that very same house. So that is totally unsettled. The shadow starts on October 11th. Mercury officially goes retrograde, stationary retrograde, October 31st, and that's when it really kicks butt. Until November 20th. It's a long time. But after the 20th of November, we are in another shadow of the retrograde Mercury until December 8th. So this whole area of jobs and the health of the people and the military, where are they going to be sent next? What about our jobs? What about our health and our health care and our animals, our pets? I'm an animal advocate, so, don't get me started here. Okay, this is the area which is unsettled. On December 14th, Mercury, what we think about and talk about. So there are hearings, there's talking, there's all kind of stuff going on. Moves into the seventh house of international affairs, our open enemies, the law, lawyers, politics, marriage and divorce, the lower courts. So there are going to be bills written, signed into action, contracts, and the public. Again, here comes the public saying, this is what I want to do. This is what we want to do. Let me see the time on this. Well, the sun moves into that seventh house on November 30th. But Mercury joins it, of course, on December 14th. And it sits in that seventh house till December 29th when it enters the eighth house. I don't have to review the eighth house with you. I've already done it twice. This is communication. This is talking about, sharing ideas about everything that is eighth house. Debts, escrow, the treasurer, where's the money, taxes, losses, secrets, and maybe some disappearing things in that area because the eighth house is secrets. Now, let's look at Venus. Venus is love. And of course, when we talk about Venus, we talk about the good guy. Venus is the good guy. So is Jupiter. And I've got Jupiter ready to go here. Wherever Venus is, it brings love. It brings happiness. It can bring money too. Well, it is sitting in this sixth house of work, health, and service in the military, and pets, and jobs, and all kind, and animals, and food. So it is adding a positive note to everything that I already talked about. Yay! I love this. On November 7th, Venus then enters the seventh house and brings a positive tone to things. I'm looking at the dates to see what's going on here. Okay, the sun enters the seventh house on November 30th, Mercury, December 14th. Okay, Venus moves into the 7th house first and brings a loving note, a happy note, a good note to international affairs, wars. So, this can offset anybody who precipitates war out of revenge or anger or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Venus softens things and helps the public, the lawyers, open enemies, contracts, helps us create contracts dealing with, where's Mercury? Food and health and all of that. So I am hoping that the people in charge let go of their ego, their pride, all that stuff, and maybe open the door for some loving, positive contracts that bring money into our economy. So this can bring a positive, something good for the public. In other words, I don't mean they're going to toss us a bone, but that could happen. So again, contracts, the public, blessed by Venus, the lesser benefic, war, lawsuits, open enemies, politics, marriage and divorce, and the lower courts. On November 26th, Venus blesses that 8th house. It needed help, as we know. Let's see. It enters the 8th house before Mercury and the Sun. And this can bring blessings to our contracts with other financial contracts with other people. The treasurer, our debts, escrow, our taxes. Now, the 8th house is the house of losses, but Venus there can offset things a little bit and bring blessings and bring positive energy to our secrets. In other words, make them available. Love that. And then December 13th, Venus enters the 9th house. And this is very important because the 9th house rules the upper courts, the Supreme Court. Foreign travel, higher education, religion, the clergy, advertising, science, insurance rates, the world trade, universities. And see, Trump has put tariffs on goods that have started prices rising. We've all seen that. It can only increase. Venus says, let's slow it down just a bit. On December 18th, Venus sits on Pluto. Now, Pluto is the planet of control or transformation. I've got it here in orange. And it can open the door to a change, a transformation in our tariffs, in our foreign trade, in our travel. We need that. In the upper courts, of course, the Supreme Court. And, if we want a loving world, our leaders have to come from love. And I don't see that happening very often. This 9th house of our of foreign affairs, let's just say, in every area, can be blessed. Now, the South Node on December 26th, the day of the eclipse. December 26th, in our 8th house, bringing secrets to light. The South Node is traditionally the area of where we're drained, of loss. However, it deals with the past and what we have mastered in the past. And in the past, we have mastered international trade, international communication. Prior to the last few years, we have had wonderful interaction with allies, those people who work in context with us. And so this can bring forward, thanks to Venus, what we have accomplished with our friends across the sea. On December 31st, Venus is 1 degree behind the midheaven, the 10th house. I've included it here because the 10th house deals with the president and the presidency. It deals with a party in power. It deals with our leaders and our public image. So it deals with our president. Venus there helps our public image enormously. It can bring a loving tone to the Republican Party, which is the party in power, and our president. And that would be terrific. Now, last but not least, let's talk about Mars and Jupiter. Mars is war. Mars is passion. Mars is what we fight with and fight for. It's in our 5th house. We have been really angry about many, many, many things. 5th house, children's situation. You know, we still have not reunited those children with their families. And that's what's so. Fun, sports. Sports are a great outlet for frustration. Theaters, fighting, gunfire. Mars is gunfire. Congressional and public hearings. This is where the trigger is pulled, so to speak, not literally, but figuratively. This is where we throw our energy, and it is in hearings. Sex. Yes, absolutely. Scandals. On October 26th, Mars goes head to head with Saturn, sits on Saturn. Saturn rules our 8th house of debts, speculation, escrow, losses, the treasurer, and secrets. It rules our 9th house of foreign affairs, all foreign affairs, dealing with speculation. And it rules our leadership. It rules the Republican Party. With it in the 5th house of congressional hearings, yeah. We can expect, I put it in quotes, a certain amount of fighting. I'm trying to be very politically correct with our leader and our leaders in Congress because it deals with public hearings. It moves into the 6th house of health, work, and service. And there is arguing and passion and fighting relating to the military, relating to health and jobs and civil servants and pets and food and animals. And it sits on our vertex on November 24th. It stays in this 6th house for the remainder of 2019. And so while there can certainly be lots of communication and excuse me, I've got charts everywhere here. And Venus is, here we go, in the sixth house, helping things along. Venus moves out of the sixth house and Mars moves into it. And this is where there is going to be rage and arguing, etc. Now let's talk about Jupiter, the great benefic. It's this beautiful turquoise planet. Jupiter is the great benefic. It brings blessings. However, it deals with a lot of. So it expands whatever it touches. Seventh house, one more time. International affairs, contracts, the lower courts, open enemies, lawyers, politics, yes, marriage, contracts, and the public. So there's a lot of input from the public, but there can be blessings. And then from the 3rd to the 6th of December, Jupiter enters that 8th house. And you might say, oh, good, that blesses us. It could very easily bless the treasurer, our debts, our escrow, the secrets that we have, our taxes, our losses. But it is a lot of. And there will be more exposed, not just in December, while Jupiter's in that 8th house, but on into 2020. So that's the way the last quarter looks. I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope it has been enlightening. And if you will, those of you who know how to do this, if you will come from love, all you have to do is put your hand on your heart. And you're focused on it. And it helps you move into a state of love. Love is the universal antidote for everything. And some people disagree with that. Some people think war is, some people think money is. If you will envision the world that you want to live in, it will bring about a lifting of the planet. Now, we are on planet Earth, which is 3rd dimensional living. We are a dimension of opposites, Venus and Mars, Venus opposition Mars. Good, bad, day, night, up, down, left, right, male, female. So where there is love, there is also anger. There can be. Love is more powerful than anything else. So I hope this is helpful to you. And in 3 months, I'll be back with another quarterly forecast for the United States. Watch my Trumpology report every month on my YouTube channel, this YouTube channel. And so until we meet again, this is Maxine Taylor saying, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours.